are reflecting history. This one particularly reflects those police officers in Birmingham, each containing photographs, historical photographs of people who have been arrested and held here, their photograph, their name, date of birth, their crime, punishment, etc., etc. The reason that we emphasise this is because Birmingham police in the early 1900s were the first force in the UK to take mugshots. So this cell talks about probably the most famous group of individuals in Birmingham called the Peaky Blinders. Some of you may know the TV programme. Most of it is fiction. But it was a gang that was centred around the general area of the Blues Ground, Birmingham City FC. And then also we were lucky to have the force's first drone has been donated to us. By modern standards, when you think that the drone came in 2017, which isn't that long ago, that is so out of date, it's unreal. Modern drones, if they're fitted with the right camera equipment, will
James said they're much smaller.
Yes, absolutely. Modern drones with the right camera on will recognise a car number plate at 2 miles. They will recognise the driver of that.
Is it clear or is it?
Oh yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, good quality.
Good quality. They will recognise the driver's face at 1.5 miles. And it will be a recognition picture. Now the cat was employed, and I use that term specifically because as you'll know, police officers have numbers on their shoulders. They're called collar numbers. The cat had a collar number. It's because then, if it's seen to be employed by the force can pay its veterinary bills. The cat was employed to keep the mice and the rats away.
That's really funny.
It is funny, but it is a fact. And on here we have examples of police equipment through the decades. There's an explanation for that. So you have oil-powered hand lamp, over 100 years old. This one very specific to Birmingham. This was used during the Second World War for police officers to patrol the beach, because during the blackouts you could not show white light. Generally torches. This is clearly a military torch, but a lot of military equipment.
Just as though they would hang that one?
Yes, yeah. That would hang over the pocket on the tunic. A lot of stuff from the military transferred into police forces. So you've gone from that over 100 years ago to this, which is current issue to officers.
So they use that now, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So it's all the same.
This is the first type of breathalyzer used in the UK in the 1960s. This is to determine whether you may or may not be over the legal limit for driving with alcohol in your system. And this is a current use device.
So is it like, or is it maximum 2 drinks that you can have? Or
There is no one can tell you how many drinks as an individual you can have, because everybody is individual. Your metabolism is different to mine, to yourself. we will all dissipate alcohol at different speeds and levels. The legal limit in England and Wales is 35 micrograms of alcohol per 100 millilitres of breath. Very different in Scotland. It's lower. To explain how the levels affect different people, if you drink 7 days a week alcohol, your body becomes used to it and it dissipates it quicker. If you drink once a week, you'll probably be over the limit for a long period of time because your body's not used to it.
There's a moral there.
There is. But I don't do morals, I do facts. So we move on. Two-way radios. This is the first type of radio issued to Birmingham police. Again, in the mid-60s, and you had to have both parts. So this part is what you listen to, and this part is what you talk to. Yeah. You had to be very careful though when you used the transmitter, because if you held it too close, it would poke your eye out. But again, the radios go all the way through the different years, right up to this one, which has been out of use about 2 years. And the most common one was this one, and it feels like a brick when you hold it. It's extremely heavy.
Can they
Yeah.
There's the other thing now, body cams, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got to body cams.
It's very heavy. So what else do we have? Well, handcuffs, Victorian. Handcuffs, chain link, that are still used in custody blocks.
Could they? So they use now.
They are used out in custody blocks, they're not used out by everyday response officers. Everyday response officers use these. And some officers will use those, which is basically a cable tie, double-ended cable tie. And these are typically used by firearms officers.
Oh, so right.
Those that carry guns. Pepper spray. Yep. Incapacitants. If this was to be used in here, every single one of us would be covered in it. It's such a fine mist and it takes very little breeze to move it. Unfortunately, something that is very, very up to date, and this is a roadside drug test. Yes, pretty much. You generally find that if somebody stopped.
Yeah, so it's to say, are they both similar?
Similar, but they work differently. Because this works on your breath, this actually works on saliva. It's similar to a COVID test. So, if you were stopped.
Yeah, he's asking, is this one new then today? This what you're using today?
It is very similar to what is used today. So what would happen is if you get stopped on suspicion of being under the alcohol limit, or over the alcohol limit, but you blow and you're negative, so you're free to walk, what would happen is the officer would be looking at your pupils, and if your pupils are significantly dilated, they will then potentially go to the drug test, and it works. So they come in foil packets, which are dated, so it has to be in date. Take it out of the full packet, and you take it apart like that. Remove that, and on the end there are little tabs, which you wipe across the tongue, all around the insides of the cheeks, to get your saliva sample. You put the whole thing back together, hold it vertically, and in there is a tiny little glass tube. You crack it so the active agent mixes with your saliva sample, and you wait 8 minutes. After 8 minutes, and possibly quicker, if you've taken a lot of drugs, you will see there's a very faint red line there.
Yes. Yeah. I had tested that before.
Now that faint red line is called a test line. If you then have something to the right of it, in the open space, that will be positive for a given drug. Now this particular version will test for 8 different substances, but the one that the police force use tests for 2. Cannabis and cocaine, because they are the 2 most prevalent. There is a legal limit for both, but the only way to prove or disprove the level of drug in your system, you must have a blood test. So back when I was growing up, well, not back when I was growing up, we'll go forward a bit. Backwards when I was growing up, police officers carried 5 items of equipment: a truncheon, a whistle, because radios hadn't been invented, a pen or pencil, a notebook, and a first aid kit. That was it. Over the years, these were phased out to be replaced by an expanding baton. And that's how they work. They're friction locked, so it's basically 3 tubes, but they have splayed ends, so they lock into each other. The newer versions of this are very different in design, because if this was genuinely new, the only way to close it would be like that. The new versions have a release system built into a mushroom head handle. Leg irons. Okay? So these would go around your ankles.
Some police I see have some handcuff with a finger. With a finger.
Oh yeah, finger
handcuff.
cuffs.
Yeah, finger
Not
cuff.
very common in the UK. I have seen them. They go around your thumbs. Literally just your thumbs. So handcuffs and leg restraints. So back in the 1900s, when the public police office in Birmingham city centre was where Selfridges now stands, opposite Moore Street Station, they would have to walk their prisoners to court through the streets. So the courts were literally up the road in Newton Street. So what would happen is handcuffs, leg restraints around your ankles, then you'd have a chain to the person in front and a chain to the person behind. And that's where the phrase chain gang comes from. Leg restraints are still used in America, not in the UK. And that is about it.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You are left now to do whatever you wish. You've got the clothes down the bottom you can go and try on, take your photographs, as many photographs as you want.
Just one thing about that little phone.
The little phone, okay.
Just, I know they'd be interested about that.
The little phone. We have something in here and in every custody block called a dry cell. Now a dry cell is where somebody, let's say, being arrested on suspicion of murder will be held because there is no toilet and no hand washing facilities, and therefore they can't wash off their body or take a piece of clothes off and try and flush it away, so they can't remove any evidence. That equally applies to people who have swallowed packages of drugs and possibly secreted this in a part of your body. Yeah, to smuggle it in. Yes, it's exactly where it would have been. This wasn't. I bought this off Amazon to highlight the story. So it's not charged up at the moment, but this actually is a fully functioning mobile phone. You can talk and text on it, and it will take 2 SIM cards, so you can actually have 2 different numbers operating. And that's why we have dry cells, and that exists in modern custody blocks as much as it does in this one.
So with this, so you've got contact from the outside.
Yep.
Like a number, they've got the outside, so they will give them a number. But how would that happen then?
Not allowed. Not allowed. But in prison,
Yeah.
you could hire this out for about £1,000 a day. If you could get it into prison in the first place.
Very interesting, yeah.
Lagi di sini ada ini cuy, ada topi polisi ya. Aku pengen pakai dari tadi itu loh. Cuman karena ngikutin bapak tuh ini ya. Bapak tuh apa namanya? Ngobrol terus jadi nggak bisa. Di sebelah sini tuh ada ini ya, ada apa namanya? Jualan-jualannya ya, jualan-jualan souvenir itu kayak ada buku-buku banyak ya. Cuman aku kemarin itu mau ngambil ini ya, mau ngambil tas. Ya 300.000 untuk muter-muter kayak tadi sih lumayan ya. Jadi ya hari ini kita sudah habis explore di sana tuh ya. Karena aku ingatnya itu dia di depan parkiran ini, di depan parkiran High Street Car Park nih. Dan nah itu yang ada kayu-kayu itu ya. Jadi kita kasih itu guys.
Invincible.